Hey guys, so Shera7 has gone viral again. She did it again. For basically saying that men don't typically like women with big curly natural hair.
Most men do not like curly hair. They like long, loose waves or straight. Curly hair is too big. It's too much. It takes away from your beauty. If you spent an hour in the mirror, do your makeup, and then you have this massive curliness going on, they're not going to see none of this. All they're going to see is this. That's all they're going to see, the hair. This is all they're going to see. All they're going to see is your hair. They're not going to be focused on you. Okay. So the hair should be simple and sleek. Men with money want you to fit into their environment, and big curls and braids don't fit in. That's just how it is. I know people are proud of their hair. It's long. It's natural. Yes. I don't want to damage it. Of course you don't. That's why you buy a wig. That way, when you're done with that date, you can take it right on off and go back to who you are. I'm wearing a wig right now. Yes. And when I'm done, I'll take it right off. Well, this is my hair. And then this is the wig back here. You see, you can do a half wig. You can get a wig the same texture as your hair, pull some out in the front, make it a half wig and look natural.
And stay tuned because I am going to dissect this in a way where you have not seen any other content creators explain. So first and foremost, let's look at Shera7's overall character because we're going to talk about the outrage, and I don't agree when people get outraged. The reason is because Shera7 has been on the internet for over a decade, and she's been this way for over a decade. She's unapologetically herself. She's very blunt.
I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything because that's what I don't do that, and y'all know I don't do that.
She doesn't mind stepping on toes, and hey, you can't call her a panderer because majority of her audience has big curly hair because it's ethnic women that typically watch her gold digging strategies and stuff like that, right? Okay, so if you're going to be subscribed to her, a person like her, you have to have a level of intelligence to understand that she's not going to tell you everything you want to hear, and you may disagree with her because she's Shera7. She is authentic to how she feels, and we'll get into that soon. That's why I said stay tuned. Okay, she's authentic to her perspective on life, and that's just it. Okay, I've done videos on Shera7 in the past because she's made comments about Palestine and went viral for that and stuff like that. So go check that out, right? And under that video, you'll see a bunch of men in the comment section saying, I have no idea why women are outraged. Why are they getting so emotional? Shera7 has always been this way. And Shera7 is a woman that literally does gold digging content. And even men were like, why are you guys shocked at what she's saying? Like, even men have kind of come to the conclusion, like, yeah, if you've been on YouTube, this is just Shera7, okay? She's going to say outrageous things.
The only spell you should have on your man is a binding spell when you first get with him, to bind him to you.
She's going to step on your toes. So nothing that Shera7 says shocks me or like has my emotions in like a twist. Okay? It's just, that's just who she is. And with people like that, you have no choice but to respect them, And she kind of reminds me of myself if we're talking about personality types, because I'm the same exact way. People can't call me a panderer because guess what? When you look in my comment section, you'll see that it's majority women, right? Just looking at my YouTube analytics and stuff like that, and I still don't pander. I still don't tell women whatever they want to hear. I still step on their toes to get my message across. I'm very authentic to what I believe is true and who I am. It would actually be smarter for people like me and Shera7 to pander and just tell whoever's the majority of our audience, which is females, tell them whatever they want to hear, because that would actually be a smarter way to gain success. Hence why it took Shera7 a very long time to finally get her flowers. And I'm sure it'll be the same for me, maybe, because I don't pander. I'm willing to have people unsubscribe from me, and I basically stay true to my character and what I believe is true. Okay, so that's my take on that. Now, I did mention over and over, I highlighted the fact that it is her perspective, and we are going to use psychology to explain what I mean from that. I love mixing facts into what I'm saying, or like even just data from professional people. So there is a thing called projection, right?
Yes, natural hair makes life harder. It sure does. And how do I know? Because if I were to have it, I wouldn't be where I am. If I were to rock it all the time, if I wouldn't have flat ironed it out to it, if I wouldn't have had on a wig one day, life would be different for me right now. And that's just the truth.
Right? Well, projection is something that most people do. So most people speak from where they are, meaning from how they feel about themselves. They speak from where they are in life. So let me give you an example. Anytime I see a woman that's very self-hating, say things, for example, like, oh, men don't like dark skin, men don't like kinky coily hair, right? That's how they feel about their self. That's why they're telling you that. They're projecting their insecurities onto you. So me, you guys know, I am a very confident woman, okay? I have high self-esteem. You're not going to hear a narrative like that. My points of views be that people are obsessed with my chocolate skin. They love my natural hair because I think highly of myself, and that's been my experience. So people speak from where they are. Let me give you another example. If you ever see men continuously bashing women online all day long, that is a hurt man that has been hurt over and over and over by women. He's speaking from his perspective. Same goes for women. Women who all day long post how men ain't ish, that's because men have done her very badly. She's still hurting. She has not healed, and she's speaking from her point of view. So with that being said, when it comes to the discussion of do men of higher value or whatever, like big curly hair, when it comes to people's preferences, it's a preference and it's catered to the individual. So I don't think that you can put this conversation in a box and say that this is the right answer and this is the wrong answer. People have their own perspective. So this is what I'm about to get into, okay? Shera7 believes that in her perspective, okay, if you take a look at her hair is literally type 2 hair. It's extremely loose. Her hair is more leaning on the side of something you would see like in a Spanish woman, Mexican. I have even seen some white girls with hair that type. You know, it's less on the typical type that you would see on African Americans, which is like kinky, coily. Her hair is not kinky or coily, right? So in my opinion, and even if you look at data, the curlier your hair is, the more kinky your hair is, the more rare it is, okay? Kinky coily hair is the rarest hair type in the world, according to data. So Shera7 does not have that. So she has a very typical hair type where it's like if you walk down the street, it's not really out of the ordinary to see a woman with straight hair or loose curly hair. So I don't think that people are going out of their way to compliment her hair type or even highlight her hair type because they're so used to seeing hair types like that. Women with that hair type typically wear their hair out. So from her perspective, I believe that Shera7 has gathered that men don't like curly hair because they don't acknowledge her hair type. Okay? Because if you take a look at my point of view, I have like type 4 hair, 4A, right? It's literally kinky curly. It's both kinky curly. So if you take a look at my experience, my hair type is not that typical. Why? Well, according to data, like I said, the more curlier your hair is, the rarer it is. So paired with my hair type being more rare, and to the fact that most Black women do not wear their natural hair, people go out of their way to compliment my kinky coily hair. Strangers, people in a bar, partners, it doesn't matter. Men of all tax brackets and ethnicities go out of their way to highlight the fact that I'm wearing my natural hair because number one, it's the most rarest hair type. Number two, most Black women with my hair don't wear it out. So it's like a rare sighting, okay? And so people literally act thirsty for it. They praise me for my hair. Whatever is rare to people, if they're not used to it, they point it out more. So I have high self-esteem around my hair, right? So that's my perspective, and I've seen a lot of girls with my hair type disagree with Shera7. So I'm explaining to you why you're disagreeing, okay? Shera7 does not have our hair type, okay? And also, you'll hear people actually disagreeing with what I'm saying. And let me put you up on some game. You have to not take what people say for as surface value sometimes. So a lot of times when women say, oh, men don't like my hair, they're referring to incidents in middle school where sometimes dark-skinned women have like almost like this like narcissistic thing about them where it's like they think that they're the only ones that has suffered. No, everyone was getting bullied in middle school, okay? It's not just you and your skin complexion and your hair type. People are mean in middle school to everyone. Everyone got picked on in middle school for something of some sort, some type of extent. So for other women, what I realized is when they come with the argument of guys don't like natural hair, most of them are referring to memories from middle school where literally everyone got picked on for anything. Not just you and not just your hair type. And I'm not talking about Shira7. I just know that I'm going to get that argument in the comment section. I would say that overall, when I have conversations like this, I am referring to adult, well-rounded, well-traveled experiences where you do not grow up in a box. Because I know that some spaces where people live, it's very black and white. All you're used to is growing up around black people. Well, I'm from California and I've traveled a little bit. Even me living in California and growing up there, you are used to a variety of backgrounds, different cultures and stuff like that. So that is why I have the experience that I have, where I do feel unique when I navigate through certain spaces. Getting back to the original point, where I noticed that when you see a woman say that men don't like their skin complexion or their hair type, a lot of them are referring to experiences from middle school, okay? So that's why I mentioned a lot of my conversations on my channel are for well-rounded, well-traveled adults who have healed, flourished, and grew past certain boxes. This conversation is for grown women with grown experiences. When you're a grown woman and you're dealing with mature men, that typically does not happen. Mature men typically do not pick on you for your hair type. It's quite the opposite because they've matured and they usually tend to appreciate that in a black woman. So that's what I'm talking about when I say I have good experiences. I'm talking about adult experiences because I forgot that there is a lot of hurt people on YouTube and they hold on to the past. They haven't healed from it. So a lot of times when you see black women sometimes with this self-hating content, like, you know, the colorism channels, they are literally talking about experiences from middle school. Okay, I'm glad I got that disclaimer out of the way. Another thing that I heard online, and I agree with, is that Shera7 grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s where no black woman wanted to be caught dead in their kinky, curly hair. Straightening your hair, whether you're doing a perm, that was very popular. Perms were extremely popular. Hot comb, flat iron, whatever it was, black women wore their hair straight if it was natural, in a natural state as a collective. So now Shera7 is like around 40 years old. So people, as they get older, they get stuck in their ways.
I'm just here to tell you how to navigate through it. I'm gonna do that. Yes, natural hair makes life harder. It sure does. And how do I know? Because if I were to have it, I wouldn't be where I am. If I wouldn't have flat ironed it out to it, if I wouldn't have had on a wig one day, life would be different for me right now. And that's just the truth.
Shera7 is still stuck in her ways with the mentality of men, and especially men of higher value or whatever, they don't like natural curly big hair because when she was growing up, well, I can't speak for men, but I know that women typically wore their hair straight. Okay, black women. And it's kind of still that way today, but it's less that way. It's like slightly less that way, where it's more normalized because like the natural hair movement and stuff to wear your like curly hair. But back then, no. People probably did make comments if you wore your natural hair back then. Absolutely. Older Black women are going to be less likely to promote natural hair. Always. Like, even when I wear my natural hair till this day, it's always an older Black woman that feels the need to hate on that because they grew up straightening their hair. So you have to keep that in mind. And so what I notice what a lot of them do is they will write it off and put the blame on men. Men don't like this. No, you don't like it. Okay? What I notice from Black women is that they are their worst enemies. You don't like your own hair. Stop placing blame on everything else. They will find everything to place blame on. Men, protective styling, we can't find jobs. That is a tactic that Black women typically will do to get out of accountability. Oh, another dumb argument that I always hear, women are obsessed with what men like on Instagram in 2024. So they'll bring up the fact that, well, men don't like natural hair because look at what he likes on Instagram. He's always liking women with 30-inch bust down wigs, right? Well, if you look at the collective of Black women, that's all they wear is wigs and weaves. There's not many other options as far as Black women to choose from, okay? Like, a Black woman wearing her natural hair, you would literally have to go out of your way to find that. But if you're on Instagram, that's all there is on Instagram is Black women in wigs. I would say if there is a Black man that does prefer Black women in wigs and weaves, well, it's because you guys have conditioned them to like that. They never see our real hair. Some of them don't even know what Black women look like with their natural hair. That's all y'all do is hide behind wigs and weaves. That's all you guys give them, and then you complain about it later on. You say that as if there's like other options. That's all they have to like is Black women with weaves and wigs. Are you kidding me? But anyways, I'm sorry. I'm going kind of off topic. I was talking about how older women do not like their natural hair. That's just well known. You'll typically get hate from older women. And, they'll have every excuse and they'll point their finger at every factor. Oh, men don't like curly hair. This, that. No, you don't like your curly hair. You don't. Because you've been conditioned not to. Because you grew up in an era where they perm their hair, they straighten their hair, and so on. So, yeah. So, that's why I started this video off with the conversation about projection. So I'm not saying that, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I like to argue from logical point of views and really dissect topics. So I'm not saying that Shera7 has a secret agenda to take down Black women. No. What I'm saying is I think that she truly does believe that men do not like her hair type because I don't have her hair type, but I think that if your hair type is more typical, and typical means that more people have it, by the way. So let me explain that definition. Typical means more people have your hair type. I don't think people would go out of their way to acknowledge it as much or highlight it. So I think that she truly believes, because I remember I said what about Shera7's character. I brought up Shera7's character. She has my personality type where it's like we're blunt. We don't care. We speak our truth. So I believe that that's her truth. From her perspective and with her hair or whatever in her life, she truly believes that men do not like big curly hair.
Yes, natural hair makes life harder. It sure does. And how do I know? If I wouldn't have flat ironed it out, if I wouldn't have had on a wig one day, life would be different for me right now.
This whole video is about projection, right? Let me give you another example when it comes to Shera7. I seen someone say that Shera7 is pessimistic. Okay, sorry to be annoying, but Shera7 is a Pisces. I'm also a Pisces. I think that's why I see similarities in our personality types. If you look it up, Pisces are pessimistic, and it says that we're also wise. So those two together, we think of the worst case scenario. But let's really take a look at why her content is so pessimistic when it comes to her dating advice. Well, if you look at her husband, she met her husband in the worst, most possible state that you can meet a man. He was already married, and he also had like a girlfriend on the side. That is like a woman's nightmare. So all of her content when it comes to men is revolving around what she has experienced with men, which is the worst case scenario, the worst possible case scenario that can happen. That's why she tells you, well, all men suck. They're all gonna dog you out and have girlfriends on the side anyways, so just get the money. People project when it comes to their content. Understand that.
When I met James, he was married and he had a girlfriend, but I didn't know. Didn't know because, of course, guys lie. So, I asked him, are you married? He said no. I said, oh. All of a sudden, his phone starts ringing and it says home. I'm like, home? Hello? It was his wife. She's like, who is this? I was like, who is this? She said, this is James' wife. I said, oh, this is James' girlfriend. And she was like, no, well, you're not the girlfriend that I know about. So she already knew about the other girlfriend. She knew about me. So I was like, oh. She said, well, where is he? I said, he's getting us a room. How you doing? I told you I was crazy. I was bold back in the day. I'm like, well, I don't work, baby. James pay all my bills. I don't work for nobody. What? Oh, Lord. I know a lot of y'all hate me now but I didn't know I was the innocent victim. I didn't know he was married or had a girlfriend.
It's too many people that are hurt and unhealed, and then they hop on YouTube and try to give advice from a hurt and unhealed place. And no shade to Shera7, I'm just giving an unbiased review on her, okay? But getting back to the natural hair discussion, yeah. So, no, I don't agree with her at all with that take. Because from my point of view, it doesn't matter. High value men, rich men, men of all tax brackets, men of all ethnicities. For example, like I know a popular talking point is that white men tend to like black women's natural hair because they find it exotic. It's not like what he's typically used to with like straight hair and stuff like that. Yeah, that's been my experience. People tend to find my hair, kinky coily hair, exotic. They find it unique. They find it different. So I have high self-esteem around my hair. And from my opinion, men of all tax brackets, men of all ethnicities, for the most part, eat up my natural hair. They love it. I hope with this video, you've learned some things about human nature and you're just able to understand this topic more because it is a confusing topic. Like, it was actually hard for me to do this video because I've seen some commenters do great takes on it, and it's like, it's not that I disagree with certain people, it's just that this is not my experience. Like, I can see some truth in what they are saying, but when it comes to this topic, it's like everyone has their own perspective. It's not so cut and dry. Because if you're talking about someone's type, that's what I preach all over my channel. A lot of people think that all men like light-skinned girls. No, that's some men's type. Just like how other men are into chocolate women. It's not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. Everyone has their own perspective. And a lot of times when people come on the internet and say, this is the truth about our skin and hair, no, that is their point of view and their perspective. It's a manipulated perspective based on who that person is. In my opinion, all hair types are beautiful. It's just that some people don't believe that about themselves, and then they come online and project it for the rest of us to hear. My point of this conversation, to wrap it up, is that when it comes to a man's type and pertains to the typical black girl conversation, skin tone, hair type, that would have to be based on the individual man's preference. It doesn't matter what tax bracket he is, or whatever excuse you guys love to make, okay? It really depends on the individual. Now, you will see me do videos, so you'll hear me have conversations where I say generally, this ain't it. But yeah, another example of how I will speak for the majority is when I talk about things that look obviously crazy, like long eyelashes. Okay, yeah, for most people, that would be off-putting. I do a lot of weight-related videos. Being 500 pounds is off-putting for most people. But someone's skin tone and hair type is not off-putting. To wrap the video up, with all the videos on my channel, it's from a well-rounded experience. I feel like if you've lived your life in a box, very black and white, okay, then you probably won't agree with what I'm saying. Your beauty standard would probably be very cut and dry. But when you've been around different ethnic groups and stuff like that, it's just not the case. Yeah, I hope you guys were able to follow along. You guys know I love to dive deep and really just analyze certain things. So yeah, I'll catch you guys soon, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys have to say. Bye.